Hey guys, welcome back to FIFA 22 Arsenal Career Mode. And today I'm going to do something a little bit different today. And I know that this is quite technically one of the longest episodes that I've recorded. But this is more of an episode where I'm going to talk about the Crystal Palace game, which happened 4 to 5 hours ago. And by the time I am uploading this, it will be on a Tuesday, which is the day after the Palace game. So right now, I'm going to talk about what happened, to be honest. But before talking about the Crystal Palace game, let's go through the transfer hub. Of course, I have been added a few players into the short list that were part of the radar, the transfer radar for Arsenal in real life, including the likes of Rafinha, Yuri Tillemans, and also Darwin Nunez. But of course, I'm going to throw it out there for now. I'm not going to make any signing in this episode. Instead, I will make a signing or two in the next episode, but you guys will see. But today I'm going to talk about and basically this episode, like we're playing 4 games, but of course you will see what's going to happen in those games. But it's pretty similar situation to what Arsenal is going through right now. But yeah, Arsenal against Crystal Palace, or at least in Vancouver time, it started at 12 p.m. A pretty good time. Kind of rushed home in the last minute just to watch the game. And honestly, I should have probably stayed at where I was, not thinking about rushing home, because it was a terrible performance, honestly. In the first like 10 minutes, or by the time when I turned on the TV in the 3 minutes, we had a pretty good chance, but Smith Rowe couldn't really make a good touch out of it. And it went out for a goal kick. Oh, but then after that, we conceded 2 quick goals, honestly. But then the players that I want to talk about, and we did mention about him in the last few episodes, actually Nuno Tavares. He was, that performance today he had was completely shambolic, and you know that just by subbing him off after the first half, and you have to put Martinelli on. And of course, I don't think this is, well, it has to be the right choice, because 2-0, there's nothing we can lose at that point, and all we can do is actually just keep attacking. But at the same time, we just can't get any goals. And what I heard from Lacazette, has spent 18 hours on the pitch in the open play, hasn't scored from the open play for 18 hours, and that is exactly the striker situation that we're going to talk about, or we did talk about. It's the letting Aubameyang go on a free transfer. Yes, it saves up a lot of wages and stuff like that, which is fine, but we don't have a proper replacement. And like I said, great leader, good work rate, but in general, he just doesn't score goals at this point. Yeah, I know he involves with a lot of assists and stuff like that, which is fine, which is completely cool, but it is just a pain in the ass, to be honest. And the first goal we conceded, Nuno Tavares just kind of like, it's too weak right there. Just he was kind of pinned, not really pinned down, but he was definitely under pressure by Joaquin Anderson. And of course, by the time we're talking about Joaquin Anderson, he was part of my Fulham career mode in the first season on loan. But yeah, and apparently he is the player of the game based on the Premier League app, and I see no problem with that. He played very well defensively, but you gotta give a shout out to basically the whole Crystal Palace team, because they actually fight with heart, determination, and everything that try to make the game possible, try to make it a win, a good win in the end for them. And Arsenal that game was just shambolic. Okay, first goal, it was Nuno Tavares went down way too easily. That's how we can see the first goal. Second goal, Gabriel committed to that play, and he got a touch to the ball, but somehow it was Jordan Ayew what's on the other side. But the thing is, Nuno Tavares actually played Jordan Ayew on side, which means the lack of defensive awareness that Nuno Tavares have, it's pretty shocking. He is 20 or 21-year-old, and apparently I heard news that Benfica fans are happy that he left the club, and of course we were a little bit concerned about that, because it's definitely not a good sign after all, isn't it, when you leave a club and somebody cheers you on that, oh my god, you're leaving. which could be a very negative sign. And I assume that might be the case. Nuno Tavares came on for TNE, and of course, that injury, it's going to be hurtful for sure. Kieran Tierney is most likely to be out for the rest of the season with the knee injury, and even Ateta said it's not looking good. So we got to prepare for the worst, but right now we have to rely on Nuno Tavares. Honestly, Nuno Tavares, early in the season, we placed in Kieran Tierney for a bit. He actually did a very good job, to be honest, filling that left back row. And at one point we thought, oh, Nuno Tavares is going to get, it's going to compete, or definitely way clear than Kieran Tierney. And that was going to be a problem for Tierney for a bit, but he came back on from injury, and he actually did pretty good. So, and yeah, all of a sudden, going back to Nuno Tavares, not a good sign at all. And it's not that I hate him or anything, but he's just not good enough for the team right now. And I really don't know what to say at that point, but it was a very atrocious first half. But then the second half, it was slightly better. I can say slightly better. Not the best. But right here, we got to talk about this miss by Calvert-Lewin. It was a terrible miss right there. We have a very terrible game. And yeah, it was a very terrible miss, but Calvert-Lewin should have scored right there, to be honest. We were 2-0 up, and then all of a sudden, Fulham scored 4 in a row, including Mitrovic scored 2, and we scored 1 in the end, but we just weren't good enough. Honestly, the miss that we had was a shambolic miss by Calvert-Lewin. He should have scored that 100%. But going back to, that's probably the biggest miss we have in the game, because honestly, we're still going for that top 4. We're trying to win the Premier League, but that was a very bad miss by Calvert-Lewin, and that shows why Alexander Isak, it's clear in terms of the striker role. But yeah, going back to the Crystal Palace game, second half was fine, but then apparently we just keep trying to cross in the middle. Again, we don't have aerial threats in the team. Not even like a set. He did a couple of times, but it was quite horrible as well. So other than that, we're trying to pass around. We have a few chances. Smith Rowe, try and place that one when he's literally within 10 yards. He should have just blasted that one in. You know what? Guaita is actually right in front of him. Why not just try and blast that one? And Odegaard had another chance, but again, another miss. And then Nketiah hit the post, but by the time when Nketiah came on, it's pretty much too late in the game, and we already 3-0 down. And the penalty that we conceded was stupid by Odegaard. Again, he conceded twice already. One against Manchester United and another one there. But honestly, at that part of the game, you know that, okay, if we potentially could have a penalty in the first half, but again, I'm not sure what's going on with the VAR against Arsenal. Just at this point, I just kind of knew. I just kind of expected it's going to happen, but well, and I was right the whole time. And then before conceding the third goal, or before conceding that penalty, Thomas Partey actually picked up an injury, most likely a pulled muscle, but this is not our night when we have to lose 3-0. Okay, before going to today's game, a 1-1 draw would be very nice, to be honest. I know everybody was going for a win because we are looking for the top 4 position, but Crystal Palace is a good team. They drew against Man City, and I know how capable they are, and the way how Patrick Vieira managed the team was really, really good. They're at 9th right now, even though they are most likely not making to the Conference League, but you know what? They should be proud of what the team is actually doing in this season. And a great transformation from last year to this year as well, from Roy Hudson to Patrick Vieira. You gotta hats off to them. You gotta give credits to them in general. But yeah, the game was just horrible. It's not our night when we lost 3-0. Kieran Tierney, it's out most likely for the rest of the season, and then Thomas Partey is looking likely to pick up an injury. And you literally need Granit Xhaka filling that left back row, and you know how terrible Nuno Tavares is when when you need to make that change. When you put probably one of the slowest player on the Arsenal team to fulfill that role, and he was playing against like Jordan Ayew on that flank, or maybe somebody else. But yeah, in general, that was a very poor play. And I know I listened to other Arsenal podcasts as well, but they said that before today's game, the next three games, including this game, Brighton, and also Southampton, if we win all three games, we have a very high chance of clinching or getting the fourth place. But after that game, it's just so bad. And I don't know if we still have that chance. Like, the fact that Spurs beat Newcastle at home 5-1, that scares me. Like, I know Spurs is like a rival, like much hated rival, but honestly, they are inconsistent, but they're good, and that's what scares me a lot. Is because of that performance against Newcastle. I know Newcastle has become more tougher in general because, of course, they made a lot of signings in January, trying to stay off that relegation battle, and they did. And instead, they actually play really good football recently. So, yeah, like Spurs are actually catching up. They're currently one game in hand of Arsenal. If Arsenal really lose to Brighton, then we are in big trouble because we can't really rely on Tottenham, West Ham, and also Manchester United actually losing the games and stuff like that in order to clinch it, because it shows how bad our mentality is. But of course, I still believe in my team. I know my team is still young. I know my team is still capable of bouncing back after a terrible performance like that. But honestly, guys, that top four chances is not getting slimmer, but having a very easy fourth place clinch is going to be a big problem. Let's put it that way. And I'm not looking very positive about that because we still have Chelsea away and also Tottenham away. Apparently we're playing in May 12th. And this is going to be a big trouble, and I'm already like having a headache right now just thinking about it. Arsenal have a much tougher fixtures towards the end of the season, while Spurs technically have a much easier fixtures. But you know what? At the end, if we can get top four, it is very laughable. But I'm not saying that Arteta's job is in danger. But at one point we were doing so good, even like a performance like this. I'm talking about the performance against Manchester United, Everton, and also today against Crystal Palace. Those three games shouldn't be losing. We should at least snatch a point or something like that, or maybe even a win, to be honest. And Everton, of course, the game against them was atrocious. Of course, today Crystal Palace game literally reminds me of the first game of the season against Brentford, where we lost 3-0. Literally, Brentford scored the first two goals, and you instantly know that we were game over. And that's pretty much how I summed it up. I feel like, okay, we are down by 2-0. Before halftime, let's score a goal. Just score one goal and see how it goes. But turns out we can't even save ourselves, to be honest. So yeah, that's basically my thoughts of the game. But you know what? I know this is such an Arsenal thing to say, but we take it game by game. Yes, we lost today's game. Horrible game in general. But what's more important is to bounce back and play well against Brighton. And honestly, the next two teams, they are mid-table. Both of them are mid-table. But again, Brighton, we never do well against Brighton for some reason. And Southampton, again, we always have trouble playing against them away, even though we beat them away last season, I believe, in the Premier League, but lost to them in the FA Cup. So yeah, I'm not saying that it's not looking bright, but it is going to be very tough. And today episodes, of course, we very shaky defense in general, but losing to Fulham, which makes the gap between Arsenal and Manchester City down to 4 points right now. So this is going to be a very tough at the end of the season. We have around 15 games left, and it's going to be a tough grind for sure. We concede pretty much more than two goals per game, except the first game of today's episode, and that kind of worries me. I don't know if that energy from FIFA is going to transfer, or this career mode transfer to in real life, but I hope that's not going to be the case. So yeah, so basically that's my take on the game, and of course this is more of a semi podcast slash gameplay commentary by me. Of course, I might do that more often in the future, but who knows? It really depends on the game, to be honest. So yeah, depends on how big the game is. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys in a bit.